Good evening, everybody. This is your captain speaking. Welcome on board First Time Flyers. I'm your pilot, Joe, and I'm here with my co-pilot, Viv. Today we'll be departing for the IT crowd. Fasten your seatbelt, secure your baggage, and prepare for takeoff.
We're in a different room again.
We're in a different room. So
No, it should be me. I'm the audio person. I should have realized that we were living in an echo chamber. Okay,
yeah, okay.
Not a psychological echo chamber, but a literal one that is your old room.
Echo chambers.
Echo
Maybe.
chambers?
We'll see. But
Who knows?
Who knows? But anyway, so when we first started this podcast, I was in a different room, a very, very small bedroom. Not much room for us. And then specifically because of the podcast, I moved into my brother's room.
Yeah.
Who hasn't lived with us for over a decade. I liked my room. I didn't want to swap rooms. So I only moved for the podcast because we needed more room.
I like how you weren't going to until we suggested it. Just like, there's an empty room right there. Why don't we just use it?
Yeah, especially because we do another podcast with a third person.
Yeah.
Garen, who
fitting a third person in there would have been literally impossible.
Impossible. Like, I can't emphasize enough. It was a tiny room, no room to do anything. So if you listen to the last episode, that's why it sounded a bit weird. That's why it's kind of like when we did our very first episode, which was not recorded in that room.
It was recorded in my room.
It was your room. And then the second episode was recorded in that room.
Yeah.
So we're now in my living room. So hopefully that sounds good.
We're slowly going to try and record in every single one of Joe's rooms.
Yeah, it didn't say why. It's because most of the floorboards in my bedroom broke, and for months we've been walking as if we could fall through the floor at any time. So I finally fixed it.
I like the idea of us theming the room that we do based on the show we do.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, maybe for survival, we'll get some radio mics and we'll go record in a forest or something.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that if it was like today. It's beautiful weather today here in sunny. It's Wales.
We constantly say we're here.
They know what country we're in.
We're continuing our British series.
We are. We're British. Oh.
Every time you say that, you always recoil.
Yeah, we are British. Even if we were even though it's we're Welsh, not British, but we still grew up on these British shows.
Yes, we did.
So we're consuming another a Britcom from the 2000s.
Well, and that's I would say it meant a lot to us at a certain point of our lives. I'm interested to see your opinion on how it is now.
I'm interested to see your opinion on how it is now.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Quick draw.
Put him up.
I want to hear, put him up, bitch!
Yeah, so we're talking about the IT crowd. What is your history of the IT crowd? Because I believe you watched it before me.
I think I did. This is a big show for me. It was one of those cult shows. I was introduced to it by our friend Rachel.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of those sort of British alternative sitcoms, and it was one of those shows we just quoted all the time.
Yeah, if anything, that made it harder for me to get into it. Our friend Rachel will never be on this podcast, unfortunately. She's alive, I'll say that. But if anyone who's listening knows Rachel, she just speaks like Moss.
Every time, all those... watching this one episode, I was just these inflections.
I remember Rachel saying these to me before I watched the show in this exact inflection and making me think I never want to watch this stupid fucking show. And then I did watch it. But yeah,
I think it's charming seeing them. Okay. I wish this was a visual medium so you could see Joe's reactions right now.
It's many emotions. So either way, before we get into thoughts of the episode, we both were teens. We both watched this because our friend Rachel really liked it.
Yeah.
And it's a British show, so you know what that means. Yeah. It's got 20 episodes.
Hell yeah.
25 to be specific. Four
Slightly
seasons.
More than In-Betweeners.
Slightly more. It had 4 seasons, each 6 episodes.
Did it have a special?
It did have a special. It had one special to end it off. So that's why it's 25 episodes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, British programming, and your extremely low budgets.
Bring us back 22 episode seasons. Bring us back 6 episode seasons.
You're getting that now.
But that's true, actually.
Yeah.
That's weird. Yeah. We kind of gone back to that.
Yeah.
Never thought about that.
And that's not popular at all right now.
No, but it's because they're not treating them like 6 episode seasons.
That's true, actually.
Yeah. They're treating them like for Doctor Who, for example, it's what we used to do in 13 episodes, we're now going to do in 8. It's no, you need a different structure. But
yeah,
there we go. We're not talking about with that. That's a British show, but we're not talking about it. Yeah. So coming back to this was interesting. I was very excited to come back to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't returned to it in about. It must be 8, 9 years.
I was going to say a decade. Yeah, it's been a while. But I have a lot of fond memories of the show, especially some of the later season stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, genuinely.
Yeah, the cast has always been in my mind.
Yeah, like Matt Berry is so well known now.
Yeah.
That like it kind of feels like a little, not a hidden gem. It's an extremely popular show.
Yeah.
But when you think of people thinking like Matt Berry and thinking, you know, What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
And it's
no,
just
we were
like,
quoting all this stuff like for years.
Yeah, exactly. So it's nice. It's like this is In Between Us was fun because like I have the memories of that. But this is a lot more nostalgic than In Between Us.
I agree, yeah.
Because this is the one where it's like, no, I know I've seen all this like multiple times through. And I can remember like us quoting it to each other.
Yeah.
And making the jokes and stuff like that.
So, do you want to go into the history of it?
Yeah, let's talk about the history. So this was a Channel 4 show.
Many such cases.
So IT Crowd. It's no pilot for this version.
No.
But we will be talking about a different IT Crowd pilot a bit later in the episode. This is quite a simple story. There's not that much production notes on this, actually. The episode 1 is called Yesterday's Jam. It aired the 3rd of February, 2006. One of the few cases where I could not find any viewership numbers.
Yeah.
No, it was popular.
I think I saw like an interview where they said like the first season didn't do great numbers, but it was often a case of just like these sort of shows with like win a bunch of awards and then people will go back to them.
Yeah, it's a cult show.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily matter that it didn't have many views at the time. Because it was just caught on more and more. One thing I thought was interesting is Channel 4 actually put episodes online a week before airing.
Again,
which is very rare for very rare for
Makes sense for this
this style of like, well, not just style, but like the themes of the show.
They're appealing to a very specific kind of crowd.
Exactly. Standard nerds.
Yeah.
I did like that.
I can't wait to talk about this kind of nerd in a minute.
Yeah. We'll get to that. It was filmed, season 1 was filmed at Teddington Studios, so that's what we're seeing. And it was filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah.
Which many people considered at the time quite old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Actually. But it was done deliberately, specifically to like kind of counter more modern comedy styles like mockumentaries.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be talking about one of those next week with The Thick of It, because that was
actually,
like quite in vogue at the time.
Yeah, and
obviously in The
time.
Office.
Yeah, The Office. Thick of It.
Which we are not covering because our plates are full.
Our plates are full, and honestly, I don't know about you. I said last week I didn't like the US Office. I have no ties to the UK Office. I've never seen it.
I think it'd be interesting to study it because there's quite a lot I like about it formally that I'd like to discuss. But that'll be a different case.
We'll cover it eventually. Like, I truly believe we will. Maybe if we do a season of, like, US versus UK shows.
Yeah.
Where we, like, watch the pilots of both.
Okay.
Then it'll come up. But yeah, so this was... Even though, like, I never really questioned the fact that it's live studio audience, it's funny to think, like, oh, yeah, by this point, they were kind of being phased out.
That always threw me off. I never knew... Obviously, with like in American shows, I was gonna say this later, but I'll just talk about how like these sort of sitcoms work. Yeah, they are literally filmed in. Some do pre-recorded laugh tracks, which to me is even weirder.
Yeah,
but like it kind of makes sense to me just economically, because just the logistics of getting all these people in a room to sit and watch them do multiple takes, having to keep up the energy. Because I saw somewhere that they like recording could take like 3 hours of some of these scenes, and a lot of the time they're not chronological, so they just like
they're not getting the context for the jokes.
Yeah, they're not getting a lot of the context for like the narrative or story a lot of the time. And it also got me questions like, okay, so there are some scenes which are just pre-recorded, like they're on location.
They have to be.
So the way they do is the crowds watch on a big screen basically what is happening and like the stuff they've already filmed, so they do take those genuine laugh tracks and put them on afterwards. But that just seems like so alien. I'm not surprised they kind of doubt it. Was strange that it was like big to begin with.
My opinion on what I think makes a good sitcom, like in front of a live studio audience, as someone who doesn't like that format, I think it could work if it's treated more like each episode is a play.
Yeah, I
don't know how, and I hate to praise this show because it's going to piss off one of our top listeners. I don't know how Mrs. Brown's Boys does it. But
that's basically like a play, isn't it?
Yeah, they just, as far as I can understand, because I've seen a couple episodes, well, the way it's framed, because you even see the audience in that.
Yeah, they make it like a big part of it.
Like They go from A to B. They just run the episode, kind of like how television used to be filmed.
Yeah.
Like in the 1960s. They didn't do like multiple takes if they could. They would just go from like, they would do the full thing essentially, go scene to scene.
Yeah.
And I feel like that works for like live studio audience because they're seeing the jokes as they happen organically.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, the idea of having to do like multiple takes of the same joke, even if it's really funny the first time, how can you like?
I could see that some of the actors, they bounce well off that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're able to see how an inflection sort of works in that context and whether they should alter it.
Yeah.
I would just think it would be exhausting being an audience member after a while because they got to keep up that very high volume laugh that they got to use later.
Yeah, exactly.
But apparently they get in for free, so
that's fair. And it's funny you say like about it feeling like really weird because honestly, when I listen to like shows and you listen to the laughs, they sound pre-recorded a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Whereas like again, not to praise Mrs. Brown's Boys or like even other shows like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where like you see the audience, you kind of sometimes like you kind of feel more of a part of it.
Yeah.
Whereas
with like Mrs. Brown's Boys, again, there is like an interaction between them. You don't have to like the comedy in it, and I know, I don't know, some of you don't, but there is like that element is used within the context.
When I used to not believe it when shows, like I remember we talked about this when we did. Two Broke Girls, maybe? Or New Girl? With the show Whitney. It was a comedy show I remember airing. And I just remember seeing a trailer and being like, oh, I'll watch the first episode of that on like whatever British channel it was on. And I remember they had a disclaimer at the start of like, this show is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
A disclaimer.
For lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But I genuinely remember thinking like, when did that come out? Like late 2010s? Like in my teens, I remember thinking, that's not true. And I'm sure it probably was true. They probably did.
It's just how they hide it
about it. Like, where I'm just like,
it's an external part that's like, see, that seems like such a high effort.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, fair enough. It is. Don't get me wrong. Like they do film in front of a live studio audience, but I've never understood why. Like I get it. It's like it's good to hear the laughs and good to get that engagement. But when that's separate from the medium itself, it kind of feels uncanny to me personally. Yeah,
I guess it's just like, I'll be excited to talk about like 1950s like American sitcoms because that's basically where it was birthed. But there was like a lineage between like live theater and television, so you could see that gap. It is fascinating that it was able to like hold on for so long.
Yeah. I think of that specifically in this episode as well, because I can think of so many jokes that are visual because of the way the camera is framed.
Yeah.
And I can't help but think, like, what are the audience seeing and laughing at?
Some of the people did say when they were in an interview, they're just like, oh, we couldn't really see the stage. We were just watching the screen the entire time.
So they were just seeing... That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because, for example, like, not to jump ahead, but one of my favorite, like, jokes, I love Jen in this. Most of her jokes got me. One of my favorite ones is like when she's getting excited about coming up with a plan and she's like, what do you think, Roy? Roy's passed out. And it's like, because you can't even see him. He's just like out of frame.
Yeah.
And I just think like, what does the live studio audience see? Do they just see like, I can't remember the actor's name, but do you just see him lying on the floor?
Oh, Chris O'Dowd.
Chris O'Dowd, yeah. Do you just see him lying on the floor? But now it makes more sense. Okay, they're seeing the screen. So it's almost like they are watching the episode then.
Yeah. But I guess it was chosen on purpose.
That's the thing. It's like this. It's not even just a matter of we're doing this because it's popular. Like it was a specific choice to make it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other production notes?
I have got saying that the IT Crowd. We said it ran for 4 seasons and 1 special, 25 episodes. It ended 27th of September 2013. A lot later than I thought.
Yeah, it was started in 2006.
Yeah, so a gap between the seasons and specials, I believe. But it was very well renowned. It won many comedy awards, including an Emmy.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, over the years for its seasons. But like I said, not many like actual production notes in terms of, sometimes we get this was made this and this came from this and all that. But I think there is a reason why that's like that.
Yeah. Why is that?
So this show, it was inspired by someone's experience where they had a PC tech with poor people skills making a house call. And that person was writer and director and creator of the show, Graham Linehan.
Oh yeah, sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar? What do you know of Graham Linehan's work?
I know his back catalogue. I know he did Black Books.
Yes.
And he did Father
Father
Ted. Big in the Irish comedy.
Yeah, he's Irish. He's an Irish comedian, comedy writer. I've not really explored much of his work outside of IT Crowd. I know of Father Ted.
Yeah.
And I know he wrote for Brass Eye.
He did
which
write
I've
for
only
Brass Eye,
recently
which
seen.
also has Chris Morris, who is also in this.
Yes.
I did get excited when I see Chris Morris because I love his work.
I love Chris Morris, and I really like Brass Eye, but that's only something I've really gotten to know recently.
He also did, me and Garen recommend it all the time. He also did, he initially did Blue Jam as well. He wrote for that for a little bit, which was a radio show, which later got turned into Jam, which is very, very dry, dark humor. Channel either Channel 4 or E4 show, where we're just like, it's not funny, but it's so not funny it is no, it's like so dry and horrific that
you can't help but laugh.
Yeah,
it's like one of those shows.
Yeah, it's a very specific kind of humor, but me and Garen love it.
Fair. So I'd say that you're more familiar with his general work than I am.
Yeah, I was familiar with his work, especially after I grew to like really like that stuff.
You know, Graham Linehan, I wouldn't say he's a household name, but I think a lot more people know who he is than they realize.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I don't think that's because of his writing.
Why is that?
Well, on Graham
Winnerhams? Is that what he calls himself?
I wouldn't be surprised. on Graham's Wikipedia page, the opening sentence reads, Graham George Linehan is an Irish comedy writer and anti-transgender activist. What? You've never heard of him? You've never heard of this?
Who is this man?
Who is this? You wouldn't know, to be fair. I would know, because I'm transgender. No, I'm not. Yeah.
We're a couple of days we missed of Trans Visibility Day. Oh, wait, that was last episode.
Oh, yeah, we mentioned it, didn't
No,
we?
that was my Transiversary.
No, that was your Transiversary. In between your Transiversary and this episode recording, it's been Trans Visibility.
No, it was on the 31st.
It's on the 31st.
Yeah.
Oh, so the day before.
Yeah.
Okay. You should have come out a day earlier.
I know.
Yeah.
I did.
You did? That was just like when you got like hormones, yeah?
Yeah, which is problematic.
Interesting. Let's unpack that.
No.
You think you're only trans?
We're impacting someone else's.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Look, I'll say this now. If you came here just for like discussion of the IT Crowd episode, you will get it.
Yeah.
I promise you now. We are discussing yesterday's jam in detail. However, you can't not talk about Graham Linehan.
No.
No. So we're gonna talk about him.
Yeah. No, any sort of work like this comes with like the biggest asterisks that sort of dwarfs it.
Yeah. And we're gonna talk about like the general culture around it more at the end, but we're just gonna go through the life of Graham Linehan.
Yeah, the narrative itself is like quite interesting, and I think it's very easy to sort of just hear these things these like his stories sort of sprinkled around based on his work, because his work is pretty well loved.
Yeah,
he hasn't done anything in years.
No, and we'll get into why.
Yeah, but his work is very loved, and a lot of the time you just hear certain things, and we would just like to discuss what kind of happened. This is quite different, but I think it'll be interesting. Yeah,
because usually it is like, talk about the pilot episodes, but in the nicest way possible. With all the production notes that we have on IT Crowd and the episode itself, this episode would be like 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
And like we said, you cannot divorce this show from Graham Linehan.
Yeah.
And we've talked about the other creators of shows in different episodes.
Yeah.
Girls, we talked about Lena Dunham.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a lot about Over the Arrowverse episodes, about the people who created that.
Yeah, we talked about John Kay and Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't remember the SpongeBob guy's name. Oh, no.
Yeah.
My brain's gone bad. The guy who created SpongeBob. Nothing. He just passed away.
Oh, right. I'm
not only talking about
Stephen
the crimes
Hillenburg.
of people. Still Stephen Hillenburg. We're not, sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative. The way we do research is we look at articles and we look at Wikipedia pages. And unfortunately, when you click Graham Linehan's Wikipedia page, that's what comes up first. Irish writer and anti-transgender activist. And most of this page is not about his writing.
It is genuinely a fucking tragedy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what most of this episode's going to be. So hopefully you're along for the ride of learning. We will be giving our opinions, and you will probably guess our opinions.
Well,
But,
who knows? Maybe
but also,
this is your first episode, and you
Yeah.
got this far, and you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I would say, genuinely stick around. You'll get some sprinkling of the episode. You'll learn a bit.
You'll learn a bit about like what is like objective truth of what happened.
Yeah.
For as far as we know online, obviously we weren't there. But yeah, so we are going to be talking about the IT crowd a bit first, but not yesterday's jam.
Mm-hmm.
So the episode, the main reason that Graham Linehan's
The genesis of
the
this
genesis of his anti-transgender activism,
hell of a sentence.
came from 2013 when online discussions, and I say like 2013, perhaps this is more just when it became popular, like to discuss these things. Discussions were probably had before, probably when the episode aired itself. But the IT crowd episode, The Speech, which aired in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
So we're both familiar with this episode.
Yeah, this was always an episode we tended to avoid.
Yeah, it's an uncomfortable episode. So the character of Douglas, who is Matt Berry, the actor, in this episode, finds out his girlfriend is transgender after forming a relationship with her, including sex, as far as I can remember.
Yeah.
With the whole bit being, oh, you thought I was from Iran. No, I said I was a man. And then he physically fist fights her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in 2013, the early 2010s, there were online discussions talking about, the problematic elements of this episode of just, whether intended to or not, kind of implying that transgender people forming relationships with cisgender people and not disclosing it beforehand
is tricking
them and warrants physical assault.
From what I remember, it was he doesn't immediately. I'm not justifying this episode.
No, but he doesn't
more
swing
just,
at her.
Yeah, it just ends with a joke with her accidentally,
Yeah,
hitting her,
and yeah,
and then it's just play for laughs and just being like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah, because she's a
what? A man.
Yeah. The episode was later removed from syndication and streaming in 2020 by Channel 4. So this discussion was had for years before anything was actually done about it per se.
And it's quite interesting because someone dug up this old tweet conversation he was having with this trans person.
Graham now.
Yeah, Graham was discussing. So this was way before any of the TERF stuff, but it was a genuinely quite polite discussion of just oh, I find this is kind of problematic, and he's just oh, I never mean to cause offense. So,
yeah.
Who knows if those are still out there? Maybe they've just been wiped off the internet. But I swear, those are out there, and it's so sad seeing where it's gonna go later on.
Yeah, I'm saying this now, because I genuinely do think, and we'll dive into it more and more as the episode goes ahead. We will laugh at this man in a lot of ways, rightfully so, but a lot of this is just kind of depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I figured, because we haven't chucked it in yet, but just, I guess, content warning. We're going to be talking about a lot of transphobia.
Yeah.
This is that's the tip of the iceberg. But it's funny you say about Linehan's response, because he does say, and I don't know when this quote is exactly from, but he does talk about how, he thought the joke was harmless, and that just because the character is transphobic doesn't mean he or the show is.
And you know what?
I agree.
I think that's a valid argument to make.
Yeah. I have always
I think it can be a sort of iffy when it comes to comedy.
Yes.
Depending on who you're punching up or down to.
Yeah.
And you got to play it very carefully. With
Yeah.
dramas, I feel as though you can get away more just because you could frame it in sort of this is a character study. I don't believe that show was going for that.
No.
At the time. I definitely feel as though the joke is on the trans woman.
Yeah. Yeah, because we can think of lots of examples where, like we discussed last week about the In-Betweeners, and it's depiction of women and sexism and misogyny.
Yeah.
Where it's it's perpetuating those stereotypes and it's being harmful, but also a lot of the time the joke is on the boys.
Yeah.
Not the girls.
I would also say this was a very early episode, but I feel so it's not perfect, but I do think it handles it better. Is the Always Sunny?
Yes, with Carmen.
Yeah, exactly. Where there are still extremely problematic jokes in and how it frames Carmen's body, but oftentimes the joke is on the gang.
I remember us talking about this years ago, where we wish the IT crowd had done something. And, now that we know more about Linehan's politics, it probably would never have done this, but from what we know at the time, it could have. More akin to It's Always Sunny, where It's Always Sunny, the joke is like, Mac is going to get aggressive with Carmen, and then Carmen compliments him. And he's like, oh, actually, like, I'm into this. Like, because it's just a woman complimenting him.
That's a good change of expectations. Yeah. That's just good comedy writing as well.
This episode could have had that, because the whole bit of like, like, I think it's pretty much like, oh, I'm from Iran. I don't care. And like, I can't remember the trans woman's name, but like the character is like, oh, great. Thinking like Douglas is like woke and like doesn't care that she's trans. And you could still use that as subversion of just like, oh, you thought I said I was from Iran. I said I used to be a man. And he could still be like, yeah, I still don't care. Like, there's a joke in that.
That's like a classic, like, some like a hot joke.
Yes.
Of just like set up, just like, oh.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
We can't get married. I'm a man. Nobody's. I love the smile that guy has in that scene.
Yeah, it's just wonderful.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, that's just kind of what's, from a lot of people's perspectives, sparked the beginning of Graham's descent into bigotry, which is a shame because, like we said, it's a rocky road to step on. But it's not like these things can't be joked about, and especially, like you're saying, if your character is transphobic, it's not like it can't be addressed and discussed. Yeah. You've just got to tread a thinner line.
I think for like this kind of art, I think these things should be able to be discussed and even joked about.
Yeah.
But it has to be done carefully, and if it's done poorly, it deserves to be criticized.
Yeah. I have seen many cases of like gay male characters where I look at them and think like, this is really stereotypical but really funny. And then I'll see other cases where it's less stereotypical and somehow more offensive.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, a random example, I like this sketch show of just like the mean gays on YouTube. I don't know what the channel name is. But they just do a thing of like the mean gays come to your house party and they're just like walking around like, they got like all those mannerisms. And I know the guys who are in that are both gay. So it doesn't feel like punching down, even though what they're portraying is not a great like stereotype of gay people. But it's, it doesn't help that, like, Graham is like a cisgender man. But at the time, if he had just taken it on the chin of like, hey, I wrote that episode like in the mid-2000s when, there wasn't a lot of discussion about transgenderism, especially compared to today, I think that they could have been really positive.
Like having the initial response of being like, I never intended to offend.
Yeah. And it's like, and even saying like, I'm not transphobic, even if I wrote the character as that way. Yeah, that's a valid response.
That is fair.
And it's a shame that he didn't take that well.
It doesn't end there.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're gonna jump forward a little bit now to 2018, which is when I'd say like he really starts.
The ball starts rolling.
Yeah. So there was an event at London Pride in 2018 where there was a counter event, protest about transgenderism. So an anti-trans protest, where banners and flyers were flown saying stuff like trans activism, erasers
yeah, I remember
lesbians,
this
and stuff like that. Yeah, I do as well. That's the weird part about all this is like it's within our lifetime.
Yeah,
and like we know about this. Like, I'm reading from notes I've made, but like a lot of this is within memory.
Yeah, especially
the latest stuff. But so you will be getting like our responses to it as well. So Linehan praised those people, calling them heroes.
Sure, man.
Sure. When further questioned after this on his views on transgenderism, he said this, and this is a quote: "I'm now in a position where I can answer the question honestly of, if you were around at the time of something terrible happening, like Nazism, or whatever it happened to be, would you be one of the people who said, no, this is wrong, despite being opposed?" So, it didn't take long for us to go from, I wrote a transphobic character, it doesn't mean I'm transphobic, to saying, I'm against trans people, and that's akin to being against the Nazis.
Yeah, it's so strange. When people think they're on the right side of history, when they're clearly not, especially when, during a time when, like, genuinely awful things do occur, and there is, like, an actual regime that could be equivocated to Nazism.
It blows my mind.
And then you're pinpointing on a minority of a minority.
It always blows my mind how confidently people bring the Nazis into things. Because it's always just like, I'm on the right side of history. And it's like, okay, you're anti-trans and anti-gay. You know who else was anti-trans and anti-gay? The Nazis.
I know.
It blows my mind. Like,
but I think the way he frames it in his head of like, because from what I remember, it was like trans people are race is lesbians. So he thinks he is being pro-lesbian by being anti-trans, when like study after study shows that a majority of like queer people support trans people.
Yeah, exactly.
They've always been part of the culture. There's never been a separate.
We wouldn't have, well, at least like, I don't know about the UK, but like America, for example, would not have queer liberation if it wasn't for transgender women.
It is.
Transgender women of color specifically.
Yeah. But having that jump between them, it makes you think like, how did A get to be?
Yeah.
Like,
I wish there was more.
Yeah, because like all I could think of at the time was just like many such cases of like someone falling down the cancel pipeline of you get discarded from one establishment and then it leaves you vulnerable.
Yeah.
And like, I obviously take vulnerable with a grain of salt. Obviously, this is like quite a privileged man who worked but
desperate for connection.
It leaves you desperate for connection, and these group of people reach out to you, being like, not only are you correct, but like, you should like speak out with us.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, especially saying like, we know where Linehan's career will go.
Mm-hmm.
And there's stuff later where it's like, oh, you can fully see how he fell down this pipeline, knowing where he goes. But after like the IT grad episode, it's like Quick All Criticized, it's genuinely like you didn't have to go like down this route. All I can say is like, we'll know and we'll actively discuss about how online he is, like especially on Twitter.
Yeah.
All I can say is like, in between these gaps, he probably just was spent a lot of time online, and once you make one comment, it's like the whole thing of like, J.K. Rowling never used to be known for the whole anti-trans stuff, even though it was known, like we've known like she's been anti-trans for like a decade, if not longer. But it quickly goes from just you made one comment to now it is your entire thing.
This is like your identity from now on,
and that's a lot of the time, as it will be evident soon, self-prescribed as well.
Yeah,
like they lean into that. Like, you know, yes, Graham was asked about his views on transgenderism. He didn't have to say, it's like, I'm standing against the Nazis and I'm on the right side of history. He could have just said, like, anything. I mean, it would have been transphobic regardless, but even just, if he had said something like, oh, I'm on the side of, like, queer people, he's not framing it. And I find this a lot with, like, modern politics, like Reform for example. A lot of these frankly bigoted people always frame it as they're against something, not for something.
Yeah.
He's not for lesbian liberation and queer liberation and gay people's liberation and equality for sexuality.
Yeah.
He's against transgenderism.
Yeah.
They never described him on Wikipedia as a gay activist, an LG, I guess it wouldn't be an LGB activist.
Yeah.
It's always an anti-trans activist.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said, he doesn't, it's not even just that he's like outwardly like, oh yeah, I'm against transgenderism. The words he uses to describe transgender, like, ideology, for lack of a better word, I hate that term, but that's how they would describe it.
Yeah.
Like, for example, he said that the trans movement provides cover for fetishists, con men, and simply abusive misogynists. And unfortunately, this will
with no backing for any of these.
No, it's just all hearsay. Especially because, and this is many such cases in
I say like no backing,
bigotry.
but literally you come with like a group of people.
Yeah.
Like that you could like you could find like any sort of, because this is what happens with like any, if you want to like end any sort of minority group, you pluck out individuals being
examples.
Like, and like, this is what this group represents, we need to end this, more or less.
And also, I have 2 points on this, and they might seem counterintuitive. My first point is, also, sometimes those people they pluck out aren't actually a part of that community.
No.
I truly believe, and I know it's hard to say this, but I truly believe there There are people who say they are trans specifically to manipulate the movement and throw themselves in as bad examples to like
Are you saying
work
they're
on the form of right.
psyops?
Yeah, I guess for lack of a better term. I fully believe that there are psyops. However, on the flip side, bad people can be trans.
Yeah.
Bad people can be anything.
Yeah.
And even then, it's like, what is a bad person?
Yeah,
it's
that
not
doesn't
even like, it doesn't even have to be like, oh, this person's evil. It can be on the flip side of this trans person did something wrong. People can do things wrong.
Yeah. That doesn't mean you have to take away the rights of an entire group.
Yeah. And it is taking away the rights of the entire group, because it's not just him saying that. In the same year, in 2018, he said that the practice of treating children with puberty blockers, which aren't just used for transgender, like
oh no, you can still use them for cis people, and that's completely fine.
Yeah, but he said that treating children with puberty blockers was comparable to Nazi eugenics and experiments on children.
Sure it is, Graham.
Sure, Graham. Sure it is. And around the same time, he was actually sued by a trans woman, but he shared photos of her and her family pre-transition, suggested she was a criminal, misgendered, and dead-named her. So she sued him, and he got a verbal warning from the police.
Cool.
So, yeah. So that was kind of his slippery slope into discussing anti-transness.
And then COVID happened.
And then, well, just before COVID, so I feel like there's a jump from like, so criticized for writing a transphobic character, talking about anti-transness. Now we're going to start to like see him actually actively partake in like trying to be against transgender people. So in 2019, he commented on the Mermaids, the trans charity, receiving a £50,000 grant from the lottery fund to open clinics around the UK.
You gotta bet that is nothing for a grant.
And like for a charity as well. And we know, like, there's not many clinics around the UK.
No.
It makes me wonder where the money went,
Yeah.
to be honest. But yeah, so Graham posted on Mumsnet and lobbied people to encourage the National Lottery Community Fund to reverse its decision. They didn't. But you can see, like, he's gone now from just discussing the issues to saying, like, we need to stop this.
Yeah.
I want to shout out something positive. H-Bomber Guy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Harry. Held a 57-hour fundraising live stream in response to Graham's anti-transgender activism. I hate calling it activism. I hate making it sound like they stand for something.
I know. When I saw that already, I was just like, I mean, that's a way of framing it, I guess.
Yeah. There should be an opposite word for, like, the opposite of an activist. But yeah, H-Bomber Guy raised £270,000.
Epic.
So yeah, good for him. But
legendary stream.
Yeah.
I remember that happening.
This was like when I think more of the public started to get, like, hear more about Graham's bigotry.
Mm-hmm. But what do you think of the episode?
What do you think of the episode of Anti-Crowd?
Yay!
There's stuff I really like in this episode. I'm
Yeah.
going to be entirely honest. I think I've aged out of the writing a little bit.
Yeah.
However, most of the cast, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Most of the cast are fantastic.
Yeah, I gotta give it to this cast. They were carrying the jokes in this.
Yeah.
We've said this before in a previous episode. My favorite type of comedy is the jokes are the plot, more or less. It's the shenanigans they get up to. This kind of comedy, although I do feel as though there is a place there, and I do like certain elements of it.
Yeah.
There definitely feels like the plot is happening and the plot spurs out jokes, more or less.
Yeah.
Like a reaction to information is a joke.
Yeah.
Rather than the situation itself being a
funny.
joke.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you mean. It's less situational comedy and more like,
I think this is the best when it leads into the extreme absurdism, like the introduction.
Yes.
With Chris Morris as the boss. Great first joke.
Great.
It really grabs your attention of just like, this isn't a normal reality. This is like crazy.
One thing I appreciate with this as well is it takes a certain energy to be able to hold silence for a long time. And even in that opening scene, Chris Morris and Catherine Parkinson, who plays Jen, without saying anything, just sat looking at each other, are able to get laughs and not make it feel like, oh, come on, where's this going? Like, they open, the show opens with a still image of a man and then him staring at a woman for like a minute. And it's still quite funny.
I know Matthew Berry, because he later basically takes over the role of Chris Morris. It's not the same character, but, you know, he's filling in that character. But he ought to get something aligned. I think he does a great job with this.
Chris Marsh is really funny.
He is so funny.
Yeah, like it's for the other characters, it's less. Well, there's their line readings, but Chris Morris just stands out. Like we made a reference to earlier. But even just the line of like, oh, what are the people I'm working with like? Standard nerds. Like the way he speaks is just so direct. And the same team. I love a team. You probably think this is a picture of my family. Wrong.
No,
it's the A team. Just he has such a unique.
And I like when that
falls
pulls back later on when they bring in the theme music.
Yeah.
It doesn't tie in that much to the plot, but it's still linking
it's
those.
Something.
Yeah, it's something. I think that works really, really well.
Yeah. So yeah, to be fair, Chris Morris is fantastic, and I've already mentioned it, but Catherine Parkinson, possibly my favorite part of this episode.
I agree.
She's so fucking funny.
Yeah, her dryness compared to them is so funny.
It's so good. I know lots about computers.
Same girl.
Correct.
I send emails. It's like, yes.
It's just the way she fucking says. Denham's like, the hard drive. Correct. Like she's quizzing him. She's got that. Like, it's fucking fantastic. And even just like. When she goes down to the basement for the first time, and she sees the postman shitting, and the way she just goes like, "Oh my god, oh my god," just like the way she carries herself is so fucking funny. Like she's in terms of the character writing, the whole point of this is like she's realizing in this episode she is no different than the IT guys.
Yeah,
she's no different to Roy and Moss.
Yeah.
However, like how she gets there, like through like when she's lying by talking on the phone.
Yeah. They're put on a very similar playing field,
yeah.
but their skills are kind of different. Like exactly. She has more people's skills in quotation marks.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's a very simple plot of just like them two learning to like each other, given their differences.
Yeah, which is quite standard, I think, for like this sort of
it's a good way to like show how they're different.
It's kind of like Two Broke Girls in a weird way.
Yeah.
It's like we're getting a workplace comedy. You want to introduce a new character to that environment, who throws off it a bit and then settles into the structure.
Quick shout out to the production design. Their office, great,
fantastic,
full of shit.
Yeah,
awesome.
No, it's.
They had a Boards of Canada poster. Great band.
Yeah, that's cool. Having a cluttered space is like so useful to like showcase so many things.
Yeah, I know it changes a little bit throughout the show, but it is a very appealing design, and I gotta hand it to them.
Even like Jen's office, is just overflowing with shit. It's clear like no one's been using it, no one's been caring for the space.
Yeah,
no, it's very, very strong. Then we go into the other characters. We've got Chris O'Dowd as Roy.
Yeah.
I think he does the best with like the eccentric comedy.
Yeah.
Like I can think of when I think of my favorite Roy bits, it's like his is more the situational, I think.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking of, when he gets stuck under a desk in a future episode.
Yeah.
When he's like in the disabled toilet. Like
that's what I mean when I say like my favorite comedy ties into the plot well. That's when I think the show is at its best with like the Gay the Musical episode where it's just like it all wraps up perfectly.
Yeah,
and it does take a moment. There are elements of it within it, like how the setup of him arguing with the lady on the telephone.
Yeah,
it gets paid off with her coming down, kicking her, and then Jen is able to dissolve the situation, which sort of realizes like, oh, you're worth.
Yeah,
basically. So there are elements of that within this episode.
Yeah,
I just think it gets taken to better heights later on.
Yeah, but like, so I think his best stuff is yet to come.
Yeah,
he plays a standard role in this episode of the one who is opposed to Jen.
Yeah, he doesn't have really my favorite lines in this episode.
No, there's the only one I wrote down from his when he's lying and pretending to be smart, and he's like, "Yes, I believe it was Tolstoy." Who said, like, no, I just felt...
No, my favorite joke of his was when he This is why it's so hard to talk about comedies. You just end up
saying the jokes. Yeah.
But I really like it because it's just a visual gag of when he puts the roller on his t-shirt.
Oh,
disgusting.
Gross. I do like saying about the visual gags. I do like when he falls off his chair and he's just bleeding from his head.
Yeah, I like how throughout the episode his t-shirt just gets more and more disgusting. It starts with the coffee stain and it just has all the blood going down his shirt.
Yeah, it's very funny. Then we've got Richard Ayoade.
Yeah. How do you feel about Moss?
I have aged out of Moss.
You do not like Moss?
No, I don't hate Moss. I can't be.
You're more of a Sheldon man these days, aren't you?
What a horrible thing to say. I can't.
There are some genuine like Moss line. Was oh god, I can't remember the one. The one with Mao. It's like
Mao? No.
oh, cut that.
Sorry. Okay. I think you'll understand
Chairman, wow. That's it.
Great.
I think it's
That's
that.
the thing. It's not that I don't think Richard Ayoade isn't funny. It's nothing to do with him as like an actor.
Yeah.
It's the way Moss is written.
How
I think it pushes it a bit too far for me now.
The absurdism isn't working on you.
No, and usually I like absurdism.
Mm.
And you know, comedy can hit you different on different days.
Yeah.
I do think there is an influence. So, for example, like we said earlier about our friend Rachel, and I think you'll understand this. If I just cannot hear Moss saying those lines without thinking of Rachel saying those lines, and it's just like
I think we're different in that endears me to it more.
It does.
It reminds me of
like,
a specific time, but I can imagine you remember that period of going.
yeah, it's just I don't know, and just you know, there's bits I like with him with the awkwardness. Like I like it when he's awkward. Like I like Jen saying like, "Can you close the door?" and it's like from the other side. I like that sort of thing. And like when Roy's like, "I'll tell him the story about when we got drunk in Amsterdam," and he tells the wrong one.
Also, by the way, I don't think that warrants ostracization.
No,
that story. They had a nice time with prostitutes.
I had a prostitute. So, what else were people do in Amsterdam?
I like how the fairground they went to was clearly just one in Britain.
Yeah.
Like the photos at the end were very
hired
cute.
Prostitutes and went to a fairground. But yeah, he takes it too far for me.
That's fair. I think it works later on.
Yeah, I'm sure if I kept watching the show, I would grow to love him again.
But I agree, like some of the jokes in here just didn't land for me.
I think it doesn't help that we haven't talked about it yet, but it doesn't help that he's also in the American version. And it's like, oh, we've got to bring Richard Ayoade as Moss. He's like the main character of IT Crowd.
He is kind of like the character from this, I would say.
Yeah, and I just don't think he's the strongest. I might even argue he's my least favorite of the main group.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably like, well, I've always preferred Roy and Denham, and if later on Douglas, who's Matt Berry. But I think that like now that I'm older, it's like, no, I much prefer Jen's style of comedy.
You prefer the women?
I prefer women. I love women.
The woman.
I love women.
How do you feel about women in the workplace?
I think they should be managers.
Awesome.
I think they do deserve. I think
CEOs all the way.
Yeah, it's like, oh, she lied on her CV. So why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Douglas Matt Berry gets a job there just because he's the son of the head of the company. Why shouldn't she lie on her CV?
I agree.
Who gives a fuck about computers?
Have you seen any of Richard Ayoade's? Have you seen Submarine?
I've seen Submarine. Darren and I talked about Submarine earlier.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
It's because you're on the beach. You're like,
genuinely, yeah. We saw a seagull. Oh, it's because we saw a seagull, and I was like, "Have you seen Richard Ayoade's film Seagull?" He was like, "Do you mean Submarine?" It's fine. I don't really have that much strong opinions about it.
I'm surprised. It's just because it's set in Wales, I think.
That's why I watched
Swansea.
it. Swansea.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I don't really have much more things to say about the episode in itself. I love the arc of just Jen getting down to the boys' level.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it's the perfect capstone on the end to just have her answer the phone and be like, you know, hello IT if you try turning it off and on again.
Yeah.
Like
Ground.
Yeah, it's just a nice little story. It's got a couple good laughs. But not much more to discuss with it really, other than two interesting things I noticed. I don't know if you noticed them.
What was it?
Denim Industries has unisex toilets.
That is interesting, isn't it?
That is interesting.
I feel as though that wouldn't be put in there if, say, the writer of this was like in some sort of ideological K-hole.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like people on the right side of history don't like it when toilets are shared, despite the fact that it's a toilet.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Interesting.
What was the other thing?
Moss gets a book.
Really?
In the post. 2 books. Same book. 2 versions. I did like this joke. It's a shame it was ruined by the book he chose. A book by a certain author. I don't know if you heard of this book. It's called Harry Potter.
Joanna K. Rowling?
Joanna K. Rowling? Is it Joanna? I thought it was just Joanne.
Joanna.
Joanna. I think you mean Robert Galbraith. So, let's get into the divorce.
A lot of things are going on in 2020.
A lot of things was happening. COVID was happening. J.K. Rowling was making comments about transgender people. for some fucking reason.
From the safety of her mold-ridden castle.
It's like, I'm bored. It's COVID and I can't leave my castle. What should I do with my time? Oh, I know. I'll write a book pretending to be a man until I eventually reveal that it's me because it won't sell without people knowing it's me. And I'll make some tweets.
Tweets is writing.
Tweets is right.
Imagine like all of this was revealed to be like a social art project of just like all my tweets were in the character of J.K. Rowling, who you can now read in my new book by Robert Galbraith.
You know?
Would you forgive her of her past sins?
Not necessarily, but only because like we know the financial aspects of it all. However, be better than her actually being a horrible bigot.
She still like did all the awful things.
I know, yeah, it's true. I don't, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. COVID is unfortunately a big turning point in a lot of people activism in a lot of ways. On both sides, honestly. The amount of people I hear where it's like, and I don't know if we discussed this on mic before, but like obviously some people fell down a lot of pipelines.
Yeah.
And we'll get into...
Okay, yeah, it was very easy to. You were stuck inside, all you had it was access to was like the world possibly ending and just all information.
And everything at any point in time you could just search up. And unfortunately it was a time of a lot of conspiracy theories as well. For example, I hate to bring this back up, it's fucking horrible, but the whole idea of like COVID starting from like China and like the racist ideology that came with that, looking into that, it can easily, like, especially with the algorithms, easily lead you down.
And it did lead to like some justified like actions, like with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you know, it was a very tumultuous time with everyone just being stuck at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except the politicians who were at their parties.
Yeah. Remember that?
Do you remember Matt Hancock snogging someone and losing his job? What a wild time. Those were the days. Take me back to COVID.
Take me back to COVID.
It's kind of wild where people are like, I miss lockdown. I understand why. It was nice to stop for a bit, but also, fucking hell. Like, what a horrible time. And I'm saying that. We were lucky, in a way.
Yeah.
You know, we were lucky that we have quite a close-knit community where we did Discord calls a lot and we played games together a lot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can completely empathize with how people would fall down these rabbit holes. Not empathize with what they're learning, but more in the sense of, if they didn't have those communities...
You would be so alone.
Yeah. You'd grab onto the first group you could that showed you any form of, like, welcoming and acceptance.
Yeah. Especially when you're coming from a place of, I have been discarded by the community I thought I had.
Yeah.
Of his own actions, mind you.
Yeah.
But still...
Like, it's the actions...
From their perspective, justified actions, they're not. But...
Yeah. Because, well, that's kind of essentially what happened as well, is in 2020, yes, COVID was happening, but it's also when Graham started seeing more repercussions for his past comments. And he wasn't the only one. Like we said, J.K. Rowling was making comments that were being said were transphobic, because they were. I just love the way that Wikipedia tries to frame it sometimes as, like, unbiased, of, like, comments that were described as transphobic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Graham spoke out in defense of J.K. Rowling and said about how people who were criticizing her were ignoring the abuse received by women who speak out against gender ideology. It was actually around this time he was suspended from Twitter for hateful conduct. Yeah, after he got suspended, he did make a bunch of alt accounts, including some where he pretended to be trans people.
Awesome.
So, you know, as I said
He's
about
just
my
so jealous.
Earlier, maybe.
Are you saying Graham Linehan is a transgender?
No. But it does take a certain type of person to actively pretend to be trans online.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You know, I'm a trans ally. My best friends are trans. And I've never thought, I should pretend to be trans online. Maybe that's just me.
Maybe that's you.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to ponder on that a bit. Anyway, he also got divorced. Look, it's
he brings it up all the time.
He brings it up, and he is the one who said that specifically his anti-trans activism led to a breakdown in his marriage. And all I can say is, how fucking sad is that?
It's the way he frames it well a lot of time. It's just like, my correct opinion, I'm so committed to it that I'm willing to destroy every relationship I have.
Yeah. Like, I don't know anything about his wife, and all I can hope is that she's thriving. But all I can imagine is, like, you're married to this man. He is doubling down on bigotry for a group of people. I'm going to be blunt. He doesn't even have to like. No one is saying you have to be out there advocating for trans people. All you've got to do is just let them be.
Yeah.
You don't have
just
to
shut the fuck up. It's so easy.
You get to do the easiest thing in the world.
No,
Nothing.
Joe, that's fascist.
That's fascist.
You're supporting the Nazi regime.
Yeah, by letting trans people breathe.
Joe, by not pulling the lever that redirects the train towards the trans medical center, you yourself.
It's like the Nazis. Like, you had to stop the Nazis, otherwise they would take over the world.
Yeah.
The transgenders will take over the world.
We will take over the world.
Right. 2021. He made a fake account on her, the lesbian dating app, to publicly post and harass non-binary or trans women who used the app. The developers came out and said all trans people are welcome, which is great for them. Turns out there was a man on her app trying to abuse and manipulate women. Turns out it wasn't a trans person. It was Graham Linehan.
That is just the way to describe it is nowhere else to describe it as just cringe.
It's just like, what point are you making, my guy? Well, look at these people on this app. Why are you on there?
Yeah.
Or to expose these people? What? Just fucking hell. He also spoke to the Communications and Digitals Committee of the House of Lords on the subject of his freedom of expression online, discussing his Twitter ban. So essentially, he went to the grown-ups who control the internet and said, please unban me from Twitter.
Please!
Please. And this is also when he kind of shot his career in the back of the head as well, because he said openly he would never work with Channel 4 again because they removed the episode The Speech of the IT Crowd. He also said he wouldn't work with the BBC for depicting a transgender lesbian couple, although he uses the term heterosexual, in a CBeebies video. So he's basically just saying, the biggest media producers in Britain, I won't work with them.
He's kind of based for that, though.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't work for the BBC.
Not for the reasons.
Not for those reasons.
But,
different reasons.
Different reasons.
So 2022, he used his platforms to rally for the Australian federal election for some fucking reason, because so Catherine Deves, who was up for the Australian federal election, had made anti-trans comments, so they became friends online. Yeah. He also said that anti-transness led him to question the safety of COVID-19 vaccinations and climate change. Yeah. It was around this time that Twitter was restored by Elon Musk.
Awesome.
Yeah, fantastic.
Legend.
He used this restoration to attack Ian H. Watkins of Steps. He tweeted at him saying, what may connect him to a man serving 22 years for raping and torturing a 10-year-old girl? That might not make any sense, because it doesn't make any fucking sense, because who he's talking about is Ian Watkins, who served 22 years of prison time for sexual assault of a child until he died in 2025. That is not Ian H. Watkins of Steps. Different person. The reason he attacked Ian H. Watkins is because Ian H. Watkins used a tool online to block transphobes, and he was so offended by this.
It's just like, you will pay for the crimes of your doppelganger.
It's fucking dumb, isn't it? But you can see he's really getting off the wall now. Just full
now.
I mean, full conspiracy, COVID vaccines. Yeah. And that kind of just flows into 2023. I think like that's when he becomes more. He begins to martyr himself, essentially.
Yeah.
He said that debating trans issues consumed his life, lost him work, made him financially destitute, and ended his marriage. At the time, there was a Father Ted musical in production that was cancelled specifically because of his comments.
It feels like he's such on the precipice of seeing what he is doing to himself. It is genuinely... It's what I'd say. It's just really sad.
It is, because he even said to like the people he was working with at the time on the Father Ted musical, I don't think you all have my back as collaborators or as business partners or as friends. Far from being on the wrong side of history, J.K. Rowling and I have been proven right over and over again against this poisonous ideology that is destroying lives. Which, no, you haven't. All you've proven to yourself is that this is going to ostracize you.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's bad to say, but whether you're right or wrong, that's a big blow to take. Like, even if you genuinely believe you're right, is it worth losing everything over this?
Yeah.
You know? But he obviously went down that rabbit hole then of blaming cancel culture for everything. Said, every comedian at the minute is living under the state of blackmail. There's a few things you can't discuss. It was around the same time then he released his memoir, Tough Crowd, How I Made and Lost a Career in Comedy.
Yeah, I know about this one.
Yeah, he really...
With a pull quote from Richard Ayoade. Thanks, dude.
Yeah. I didn't really know how to talk about Richard Ayoade's, support of Linehan, because he also, donated to, is something that we'll discuss in a bit. But, yeah, we only have so much time to discuss bigots on this episode. He actually, in 2023, did deny disliking transgender people. He just said using preferred pronouns was immoral. Yeah. And he didn't have a problem with men calling themselves women. And the only problem was that we are only talking about it in places where conflict arises.
What?
Yeah, which is weird, because, he's the one starting conflict.
Yeah, it's just what?
Yeah, it makes no sense. But anyway, in his memoir, he writes about all these issues and about him, his divorce, his struggles with his work. There were some reviews of his memoir that were positive and talk about his writing, but I did want to highlight this Guardian review, not because it criticizes the memoir, just because I think it really shows the mindset of Graham Linehan. It reads less like a story of a man heroically cleaving to his principles than a document of a peculiar and self-defeating obsession, a sad coda to a once towering talent. I think that's just kind of highlights it throughout this whole story.
If you read it like Macbeth and not a memoir, then you're just great.
Yeah, it's like a moral tale.
Yeah.
Of, he got rebanned from Twitter by inciting violence against trans women.
It is insane to get banned off
Elon Musk's Twitter now.
Yeah.
He was reinstated days later, but he did specifically say, after attending an anti-trans event and saying there was a counter-protest, so a pro-trans counter-protest, and he tweeted, "Duh, I'm gonna kill him." Are you familiar with the work of David Tennant?
Who's David Tennant?
He was Doctor Who, then he wasn't Doctor Who, and now then he was Doctor Who again, but now he's not Doctor Who, I think.
Until.
Who
knows?
Come back Christmas.
Yeah.
David Tennant, one of the most liked British actors, I'd say. And, very big supporter of transgender rights. He called David Tennant an abusive groomer for wearing a shirt that says, "Leave trans kids alone, you absolute freaks." I think he was very offended by that shirt. Yeah.
I identified as a freak. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. I'm going to get the trans kids. Yeah, and so his career was going down the shitter. He even tried to do the whole right-wing comedian thing of oh, I'm doing a tour where I can say what I want.
He didn't even get his own Netflix special.
He didn't get his Netflix special. And the best part about that tour for the Edinburgh Fringe, all the venues cancelled on him because of his politics. He was so ostracized. And whether you agree with the idea of...
They're trying to silence me because I'm right!
That's the thing. Whether you agree with the whole idea of cancelling people or not, in this literal sense of cancelling venues, it's what do you expect these companies to do?
Yeah.
When they're getting such backlash because of your vitriol online. Anyway, he was also at the same time dropped by his television agent, the Independent Talent, who funnily enough also represented David Tennant.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
At the end of 2023, he capped it all off by saying on an Irish radio station about being cancelled and basically using it to promote his memoir. So he's kind of past the point of no return at this point. And, it was to the point where even a lot of the people he was criticizing online, for example, one of the actors he criticized, David Paisley, even filed a defamation lawsuit against him. As far as I know, David Tennant never did, and the lawsuit itself didn't go anywhere, but as far as I know, it hasn't gone anywhere yet. But Linehan actually launched a crowdfunding campaign for his defense, which as far as I understand, Richard Ayoade donated to.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Richard.
Yeah, it's not great, is it? Anyway, what do you know of the US remake of the IT Crowd?
I know Richard Ayoade's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Also,
Joel McHale.
Joel McHale.
I didn't know this existed before yesterday.
I knew it did. It was always in those like lists of horrible US remakes of UK television shows, a la The In-Betweeners also.
Yeah. But not even necessarily a controversial opinion. It's hard to lump that in because this is just a borderline shot-for-shot remake.
I mean, so was The Office.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. It just makes me wonder, like, what's the point? Like,
what is the point?
What is the point?
You could say that, but like, I guess I'm not sure if it was before or after the US Office. It's a lot of people do criticize the first season of the US Office because it is shot-for-shot remake, but it did eventually, whether you like it or not, it did become its own thing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's more just like, it's for the people who haven't seen the UK one, and then they'll eventually go off and do their own thing.
Okay.
But again, it is an interesting thing considering, like, it's going to put off all the people who know the previous one.
Yeah, because it's like borderline identical.
Yeah.
The main differences are just like, it's a little bit faster, and there's a couple of line changes. Like, they didn't even change Roy and Jen's pixel avatars in the intro.
Yeah, didn't they?
No, they're the same. I think the only reason they changed the guy who plays Denims is because obviously Chris Morris is white.
Yeah.
And Rocky Carroll, who plays him in the US show, is black. So that's like, we can't get away with that one.
Yeah.
But they didn't even change the other two.
Oh, crazy.
To be honest, I was surprised they changed him. Yeah, it's just kind of uncanny.
Yeah,
to see, like,
that's what I felt about the US Office one as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. I haven't seen The Office. I always assumed The Office was just kind of like a restructuring, but that's interesting.
When did it come out?
When did it come out?
Because it was a failed pilot, wasn't it?
It was a failed pilot.
Do you know when it was filmed?
I'm not sure, actually. I could find out. But yeah, it was filmed for NBC, sorry. And a series was ordered, but then it was dropped because NBC's president was not interested in it. It was 2007. So not that long, like...
No, so like a year after.
A year after.
So like one season.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, really, really odd. It's fine. I don't even think it's that bad. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, the jokes that kind of work are still there. I don't know. I don't really have that strong opinion about it.
Yeah. When you have an example of it working like pretty decently well and you see the exact same thing, it's kind of just like, oh.
I don't think Joel McHale works as Roy.
No.
He's too...
No, he's trying
traditionally
to be...
he's trying to be like...
I genuinely think... I like Joel McHale.
He's playing it as himself. He's like same as he is with Jeff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the only instance where that kind of works.
Yeah. When the character is like cocky and the joke is on him.
Yeah.
When you've got a character who's like Roy is meant to be, like, he's in over his head, but he's not, he's self-aware.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, just weird. And it wasn't even the only adaptation. There was also a German version.
I did see about. I did not know about the German version.
That's fair. I wasn't able to find any clips or anything. It was also apparently almost identical, but it got 2 episodes before being cancelled.
Take that, US.
Yeah, you know, I can appreciate a different language version a little bit more than a straight remake in the same language.
No, just do a dub.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
other shows do that. That's completely fair.
I wonder if they do like German-specific humor, because I know their work culture is quite different.
Yeah, I imagine so. To be honest, I'm surprised that the German version was more or less identical, because I can imagine taking the concept of an IT crew and making that fit something else, like depending on the different countries' work cultures, like you said. But maybe the style of the show was different or something, or the way jokes were set up. But the script itself, as far as I'm aware, was very, very similar.
Okay.
So, yeah. Anyway, we talked a lot about opinions about Gray Linehan. There are some things, though, that a bit more objective, and that's his crimes. And we laugh, but I mean literally crimes.
Like literal crimes.
So, in 2020, this was all in 2025. Well, the first crime happened in 2024, but the charges happened in 2025. He was charged with harassment and criminal damage following the Battle of Ideas conference in London, which sounds like the saddest place to be.
Are you saying you wouldn't want to go to, what was it called again?
The Battle of Ideas conference.
God damn, I don't know if my brain's big enough to gain entry.
I don't know if I'll ever get the opportunity to say this again on mic. I just don't know how we would get a context to talk about this. I think debating is bullshit.
It is kind of pathetic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, oh, argue to me about people's rights. No, fuck off. I'm biased because, like, in the UK,
that means you lose.
In the UK,
I'm turning into Moss as I do that.
You did something like Moss. In the UK, there's a radio show. I can't even remember this guy's name, but I hate the radio show because it's always like, we're going to call in people from the public and ask them what they think about hot button issues. It's like, oh, everyone gets their own opinion. Does not mean you have the right to voice your opinion. I'm saying this about myself. There are some things I don't feel comfortable speaking about because I know that I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
The difference is I don't have the audacity that these people have.
Yeah, some people just have the blind confidence with no knowledge to back it up.
I was like, oh, I can just go on here and say that transgender people are like male misogynists who are trying to do this. Yeah, you can say that. You have no fucking evidence for it.
Yeah.
And I imagine who is at the battle of ideas other than people desperate to be debated. That's what I find so pathetic about this type of person, where they're like, oh, debate me, or you have to engage with my arguments. No, I fucking don't.
And that's why you shot Charlie Kirk.
I can never confirm that tonight. I was busy. I was watching Salem's Lot at the time. I couldn't have shot him.
I don't know what I was doing. I was planning Trump's murder.
You were planning Charlie Kirk's assassination, and you were like, fuck!
Fuck!
Someone got there first. Yeah. I feel like that's a weirdly controversial issue, because I even understand the argument on like left-leaning spaces of, look, sometimes you do need to engage with these people to kind of convince them they're wrong. And I agree with that. I think there is a sentiment where there is a certain type of person where they are just misinformed. I don't think these people are misinformed. I think they are actively making the choice to engage in this way.
Yeah.
They don't think they're wrong. They're just down in a rabbit hole. I don't know. It's hard to put into words. But anyway, while there, he called a 17-year-old trans activist a domestic terrorist and a groomer, and also during a confrontation, broke her phone. He was released on bail on the condition that he not contact this 17-year-old, which frankly shouldn't be anyway, but you know. He was found guilty of criminal damage to the phone and fined £500 in order to pay court costs of £650. But in terms of the harassment for calling a 17-year-old a domestic terrorist, nothing was done. This is the big one. He arrived one day at Heathrow Airport and was immediately arrested on suspicion of inciting violence in Twitter posts. For the record, Twitter by this point had changed their name to X. So, sorry for dead naming. He X'd. Was that what they say? Or do they still say
he X'd? Nobody says X.
I don't know. He tweeted.
He posted.
Eexed.
He eexed.
Eexed. If a trans-identified male, which is good, he's getting in all the turf lingo.
What the hell?
If a trans-identified male is in a female-only space, he is committing a violent
I thought he was
act.
I thought he was just calling a trans man correctly.
No, he means
I was
a woman.
I was mangling the words in my head.
Yeah, you were being woke.
I know.
I know, trans-identified male just sounds like a trans man.
Yeah.
It's weird. Just call them what they are.
Yeah.
Men and women.
As I was saying, but clearly it does. Carry on.
Yeah. If a trans-identified male is in a female-only space, he is committing a violent abusive act. Make a scene, call the cops, and if all else fails, punch him in the balls. So he was arrested for this, which got a lot of buzz because of the whole, like, oh, I can't say anything online nowadays without being arrested. I'm in two minds about this. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah.
I think it is wrong that he incited violence, and he did incite violence.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't know.
This isn't like. Do you not think it's pointed enough?
No, I feel like it was so.
You got to be careful with these
wrong.
because, like, these kind of people will take any sort of wrong, accusation, which I'm not saying this is, but they'll take any sort of thing where they could sort of take any leeway and be like, look, they are framing us for things.
Exactly. If
they're looking for any reason to be silenced so they can use that to be louder.
Exactly. If he had said, if you see them in women's bathrooms, kill them, of course. Even if he said beat the shit out of them, of course. Because he specifically said punch them in the balls. It gives him the grounds to say, I was just joking.
Yeah, clearly this is a comedy thing.
Yeah. So I'm not saying like he shouldn't have faced repercussions. He should have, absolutely. And we'll get into like the further repercussions in a minute. But it's just like, I feel like...
Especially now with like these sort of cult of personalities, they look...
They want to be martyred.
Yeah.
And I feel like, yes, the Scottish government and the police force, whoever it was, decide to make the arrest, made the correct decision to investigate an act of, like, a perceived act of calling upon violence against a group of marginalized people. However, I do think these conversations need nuance, and perhaps they should have thought about the wider effects of arresting a man for a tweet.
Yeah.
Because that's literally like a right-wing talking point of like, you get someone's pronouns wrong, they send you to jail.
Yeah.
And like, that's a fucking stupid argument. But there are people who believe it, and it's because of things like this. So it
feels like they use very selective language, so they could use like deniability.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, his arrest was criticized online by who else but J.K. Rowling, Elon Musk,
all the best people, the best people,
all the best people, Nigel Farage. He was actually he was.
How do you
released...
feel if Nigel Farage was just I love Pod One Out Studios. I love First Time Flyers.
I don't know. More endorsement for us, seeing as we've vocally not endorsed him before.
Yeah, that's true. Would you not feel like, I need to stop all of this? I
wouldn't be like, stop this. I'd be like, we need to be woker.
We need to be woker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's wild for us. He was released without charge, on bail. The condition, don't post on X.
Impossible challenge.
It was the bail condition was taken away a week later, so he had to spend a week off of Twitter.
What a bitch-ass baby!
I got arrested.
Not even
for
off
my
it.
views.
Just don't post.
Yeah, I got arrested for my views. I can't use Twitter for a week. Guess I've got to tell the BBC I'm going to sue the police for wrongful arrest and false imprisonment.
Imprisonment.
He didn't go to prison.
What are you in for? A person on X.
I made a tweet. I tweeted saying that we should punch trans women in the balls. It was just a joke. Right.
You think for a comedian, he's write a lot better ones.
Yeah. I'd forgive his transphobia if he was funny.
We clearly do. We give people way too much grace.
Yeah. We're surprisingly fair. If you've listened to this and think that, like, we've been unfair, I personally completely disagree. We could be a lot harsher.
Yeah. Because, like, I think this is just kind of our personalities where it's almost a weakness in me where I try to almost understand almost anyone, but even though it's worse, even like the undebatably worst people, I always feel so, how did they get there? What circumstances led to this sort of thing? And you try to give like the most grace because that's more often like how these things could sort of occur. And it helps you understand, I feel.
Yeah. It's like we said about this, just a bit behind the scenes. Before we started this, we wanted this episode to be very structured so that we sort of knew where we were following and we wouldn't lose our place in terms of talking about Graham and what he's gone through in his life. The thing is, we didn't know exactly how we wanted to end it, other than this general conversation about cancel culture.
Yeah.
And it's hard because I feel like that conversation's been so stripped of a lot of nuance nowadays. When, I want to give him a little bit of grace and say, like, what's happened is a tragedy. We have witnessed a man who was well renowned for his comedy writing, and just that, he was just a comedian, lose everything. And it's like, we're trying to give him like, say like, oh, well, he's still a privileged white man. He is, but also he lost his wife. He can't get work.
He doesn't speak to his kids.
Doesn't speak to his kids. It's all his own fault. But at one point, you look, at like, say, Twitter, for example, or the wider context, or people like J.K. Rowling, who I don't want to use the word groomed, but essentially like enabled this behavior.
Yeah.
It's easy for J.K. Rowling to say, no, stick to your guns while she's making that Harry Potter money.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I don't want to pity Graham Linehan.
But you can't help it.
Yeah.
It's like just part of who we are, where we just see these kind of things occur and you just think like, fuck.
I always just think...
You just feel sad for these people.
I can't remember if it was you or Garrett I said this to. I said this recently, and like I said, I don't like portraying my empathy in a way of like, oh, I just feel bad for these people, like that sort of thing, but in a genuine sense of, I can't help but think, when these people are getting to the end of their life, how do they not look back and think, what a fucking waste?
I know. Maybe it's more on us to sort of not feel this way, because they certainly aren't.
No, they would not give us the grace.
Yeah.
If Graham Linehan listens to this, which is a non-zero possibility, because he does look a lot online at himself.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would openly say, oh, he's been bashed on this transgender podcast, despite the grace we have given him and the praise we have given his work.
Yeah. But I do genuinely believe in trying to be empathetic, even if the person doesn't deserve it.
Yeah. Because, frankly, when people are out here being this horrible and rightfully facing repercussions, but still victimizing and martyring themselves, I don't want to add to that.
No, this is more just like sort of, we're just trying to put something into perspective.
A character study, if anything.
Yeah.
On, could we have talked about the IT crowd and not gone into every detail about his anti-trans activism? Probably. We could have probably even just done half of the stuff and still had enough for a full episode. But when you go on the IT crowd website, you look at them and you see that it was written, directed, and created by Graham Linehan. You can't remove his name from it. The same way, Harry Potter is always a big conversation piece, but especially now with the HBO show coming out.
Yeah.
Seeing everyone say, oh, but it's separate. Graham Linehan uses his money to fund anti-trans activism.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I don't even like the use of activism. He funds hate.
Yeah. He's funding a hate organization.
Yeah.
To sort of strip away the rights of like a very marginalized community
and
that I'm a part of.
And honestly, a lot of them, from his own specific mentions of puberty blockers and his confrontations with teenagers.
Yeah, he confronts a lot of minors, doesn't
he? Yeah. Pressing kids, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's like, obviously we have different perspectives. You are literally trans, and I've been friends with you since before your transition, and you're obviously transgendered. You transgendered when you were a teenager.
You were transgendered.
You were transgendered when you were a teenager. But I can't help but think back. Like, obviously, transphobia has always existed. But, like, I can't help but think back to when you said you were trans. And I'll be honest, I didn't know fucking anything about transness at the time.
Yeah.
Like, I've always been a progressive person, but I didn't know anything about it.
This was like 2017.
Yeah. I can't help but think that, like, us and our friends, not to pat ourselves on the back too much, but also, frankly, to give us a bit of praise considering the world we're in. Heard that you were trans. I did what we could to support you and support our other friends who were trans and learn about it when we were teenagers and full-grown adults like Graham Linehan are throwing temper tantrums because they have to use he instead of she or she instead of he sometimes. It's sad.
Yeah.
I mean, I sent a video. I haven't even talked about this, but it's not even just like in the big official talks. On Graham Linehan's YouTube, he has an open letter to Eddie Izzard where he's like, please don't make me use she pronouns for you. And it's like, fucking hell.
It's like nothing.
It's exhausting.
Especially with like what's going on all the time in the world. It's just like, this is less than a nothing burger.
Yeah. Like I said, in this situation, frankly, if you're listening to this and you think what Graham has said is right and, you are anti-trans, you know what the best thing to do is with that information? Nothing.
Yeah. Cool.
Just have your thoughts. No one is stopping you from having your opinions. But we would like to stop you from oppressing children and marginalized people.
Yeah.
Which, I don't think is a lot to ask.
Cool. Well.
Anyway, I think I'm a bit of a Roy.
I think...
I don't want to say you're a Jen because you're a woman.
Yeah,
but
I think I'm a mix of Roy and Jen. If Roy was a woman...
Yeah. We're both Roy.
With Jen characteristics.
Yeah. I did speak to the Reddit.
Yeah? What did the Reddit think?
Yeah.
Did anyone actually bring up any of the controversy? I'm genuinely curious.
I don't believe so. I'll double check now. Someone actually said that we should compare the pilots, the UK and the US ones. And we did, so I hope they're happy. Someone said, I love the idea of your podcast. Thank you.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. The same person actually said, after being in LA for a bit, I might cut this, but after being in LA for a bit, I saw a lot of pilots that never made it. Always thought it would be amazing to have a show that only talked about pilots. So I hope they listen to us. First episode is great. However, the first episode of the second season is the funniest thing ever produced on TV. I can't remember the top of that.
Was that Game of Musical? Because that is always my favorite.
That's one of the funniest episodes. I thought the character introduction was really well, natural flow of the story. I love the first episode. It sets up everything you need to know about the dynamics, including Roy refusing to answer the phone. I actually wrote about editing techniques in this episode as part of my coursework.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. And a lot of quotes from the show, which I always like to see, is just when people are engaging, that sort of thing. I find it interesting how the characters do things that are a bit out of character in the first episode. In this one, the joke about going in half-cocked just doesn't really fit the rest of the show. See also a joke about Sheldon being a habitual masturbator in the first episode of Big Bang Theory.
Okay, I don't remember that.
No, me neither.
Can't wait for us to get to that at some point.
That's really funny. Other than that, I think Yesterday's Jam is a really good intro to the characters. So generally quite positive. No one else mentioned Graham Linehan.
Okay.
So
I can imagine in the subreddit there's probably a rule about bringing up all of Graham's shit, because
there's not a written one, because funnily enough I checked.
Yeah. I'm sure it's just sort of like
an unspoken rule.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's recording now.
We're recording?
Yeah, now we're recording. We're back.
We're back. We've never done this before.
No.
So we recorded the rest of the episode about a couple of days ago. It was edited. It's scheduled. We're now recording the day before the episode goes live because something very exciting has happened.
Yeah.
We've got our first ever email.
Finally.
Not like something from a friend or like a message we've coaxed out of people, but someone emailed us of their own.
It was so exciting. My heart fluttered.
It was. I have notifications off on my phone for my own email. Because for me, it's like, I just associate email with work. So I have my own email deactivated. So when I got an email
What about
through,
your email?
Well, I just check my email frequently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
you must, because like you're always the first one to answer the dream mail.
I check. I'm on my phone a lot. To get it.
I turn off all my notifications.
It's like how you didn't know.
I manually make myself depressed, not just automatically.
Yeah, it's like how you didn't notice I didn't have messenger notifications on, and I truly didn't have them on for months because.
But you're just so snappy.
I know. But so when I saw that I had an email notification, I was like, I was probably just like Acast or something, or like someone offering us a dodgy sponsorship. But no, it was an actual person called Jay Bloom. So Jay has said, and we're recording this because it's to do with the IT crowd, so we didn't want to just like talk about it next week. Jay has said, my partner and I love IT crowd. We just struggle with Graham Linehan's transphobia. I know that there is a famous episode with a trans woman, and as a woman I can see from a certain time, and Matt Berry has gone on record to apologize for the episode, which is interesting. I didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
And like,
at least someone has.
That's cool, yeah. And and they end by saying, how do you handle liking a show but hating the writer's constant attacks against trans people? It's one I still have yet to answer for myself.
We didn't. We just tackled it head on.
We tackled it head on.
Do you think this kind of can? Do you think it can be like a bit of a burden? Because we do this like every episode. Because we like to give context to the show, to like any sort of program, whether it be a film or something like that. Yeah. Stuff. I don't like to like brush past things. I do like to acknowledge like the creators behind them, because they are a big proponent of them, and whether like supporting them, like supporting a show supports them.
Yeah, it's something that's definitely worth talking about. And, you know, there are times where I feel like it's especially more prevalent. Like, the thing with Graham Linehan is you know, IT crowd is that bit older and he's not really profiting from it much anymore. He's cut ties with Channel 4. I'm sure he still gets residuals.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, yes, what we are bringing, like, if we had talked about the IT crowd separate from him, it's like, okay, we are, like, still talking about his work. I don't think we could have talked about him without going into it. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think we could have just said this show is written, created by Graham Linehan without acknowledging it somewhat. Yeah, of course, we went, like, well into it because we find it interesting.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, for, say, Lena Dunham, we kind of talked about it. We didn't, like, spend the whole episode talking about it. But
she has a long controversial section on Wikipedia. Nothing, like, I don't think I've ever...
Oh, Graham Linehan's Wikipedia is all controversy. Yeah. So I don't think we could have avoided it. So, if you're listening specifically, I hope that, that kind of satisfies, this whole episode kind of satisfies what you're thinking about, where we don't feel like it's appropriate to just ignore it, if that makes sense.
I like to think that even though we did talk about it a lot this episode, we talked about it way more than the actual IT crowd itself.
Yeah.
I feel as though it wasn't just like a dunking on. It was like a genuine, like, look what happened sort of thing. Having
now edited and listened back to the episode, now we're a couple of days removed, I do feel like we were very fair.
Yeah.
And some people...
Not that other people's reactions are unfair.
And some people may say we were too fair.
Yeah.
And we say it's a tragedy, but it is a self-imposed tragedy.
Yeah, we do tend to give people way too much grace on here.
Yeah. But then on the flip side, with I find what Jay was asking at the end really interesting, of like, how do you go about liking and supporting a show, but hating the creator? I don't think there's anything wrong with your liking of the thing remaining. It's a case-by-case basis on like whether the creator's opinions will affect your enjoyment.
A lot of my favorite art is done by just genuine monsters.
Yeah.
It is like, I like to joke about it with my friends a lot of the time, that I like to like a lot of media by like evil people. But there is like a genuine conflict when you do have something that means so much to you, and not just take away the fact like the supporting the creator, but just thinking like, oh, something I love has been like made by someone who does something awful. And you do just sort of have to like, I don't know, I haven't really found an answer to myself. I do continue to like consume stuff by people who I don't think are good people.
I don't think there is a set answer to it, because I think that I'm a big proponent of death of the author, but I also, on the flip side, believe that it is kind of impossible to separate some art from the artists.
Yeah.
Obviously, we mentioned her throughout this episode, but the name and example a lot of people always give is J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
Especially in regards to there's a new Harry Potter show coming out. So it's like, if you have the Harry Potter books and the Harry Potter DVDs and you love Harry Potter, it's like completely fair. And you like using your DVDs or watching the films, using the books, reading the books you've already read, that's not directly funding J.K. Rowling anymore. Like, the money's already been and gone. But then, like, if you watch the new show on HBO when it comes out,
I guess it's just
that's
sort of
going
like,
to directly
it's engaging
impact.
with like the sort of cultural capital of it all.
Yeah.
Because just like, well, obviously I'm not saying like don't discuss it with people or stuff like that, because that's just stupid. Just being no, I will not.
Yeah.
I will not be discussing this.
Engage.
I am too woke for this.
Yeah.
But I think it's just sort of like try and be mindful.
Yeah.
About these things, and also just don't watch the new Harry Potter show.
Just pirate it. This is another thing as well. I think a lot of people forget the financial aspects. And it's like, I'm not going to watch new Harry Potter. I never read the books. I did like the films. I actually rewatched them in uni during like a depressive episode and found a lot of comfort in them. But since, like, even more so with the stuff with J.K. Rowling, I just have no interest in it. But if I was a fan of Harry Potter and you are listening, I would just say, just pirate it. I pirated the IT crowd. Okay. Like, we're a big...
Okay. I'm more interested in the discussion of just like, obviously, yeah, for like, do not finance these people.
Yeah.
That's like a clear cut for me.
Yes, yeah.
It's more just sort of whether to engage in the art generally and how to. But that's like a massive philosophical question that I don't know if anyone's ever had like a concrete answer that I find satisfying, I think.
It's a very interesting discussion. And I think there's something that requires nuance in both directions, because I can completely understand, like I said, I've been like perusing the IT crowd subreddit, and there's like no mentions of Graham Linehan. And you could argue like, well, maybe there should be, but then also, yes, he wrote the show, he created the show.
I'm sure I'm sure someone will make an IT crowd circle jerk subreddit, and all it'll be is just dunking on Graham 24/7.
Yeah. But no, it's an interesting topic that we could honestly go around in loops for hours and not reach a conclusion.
I think it's more just interesting to just kind of talk about it.
Yeah. And, in terms of your own, like, enjoyment of things, you're still, like...
Is there anything, like, you consume where you're kind of just like, oh, should I? You're too woke for this.
Honestly, yeah, I am kind of the too woke person where I'm just like, no, I won't engage with this.
I just love...
Yeah.
Just the kind of media I enjoy just needs to be made. You need to be kind of a piece of shit to make the kind of stuff I like.
That's fair. I'm sure there is if I like put my mind to it and think about it. But a lot of the people I like who have been like quote unquote cancelled have been cancelled over stupid reasons.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
And I'm not, stupid reasons in my opinion, but I mean like internet beef, not crimes. Like those are two different things. I'm trying to think. No, I don't really think that
you have
there
a
is
clear
that for me.
conscience.
Clear conscience. I've never done anything wrong.
Anyway, thank you for writing in, Jay.
Yeah, genuinely, thank you. Like, it was very exciting, and honestly, it's gave us that extra bit of discussion topics to think about as well. So thank you for writing in, and we're always open to more emails. I'm also very curious about. I might cut this. I'm very curious about Jay as a whole because obviously we get comments on the Reddit which I instigate, and like we've got messages from other people which I've also instigated. But I'm like, ooh, they got the email. Did they listen? Have they been listening? Are they a weekly listener, or did they just like see my post and not want to comment but emailed? I'm very curious.
Well,
but I have no idea where I'm putting this in the episode, so I don't know what we're cutting back to. But please enjoy us from the past.
Yeah,
for the rest
those
of the episode.
fuck ass bitches.
Yeah, what do they know?
Bye.
Bye.
Cool.
We just wanted to go through and discuss the life of a man who was very talented and unfortunately shot himself in the foot.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Shame.
But that's in the past now. We've got some different stuff to look forward to.
We do.
Like Little Britain in the future.
Like Little Britain. Now, we're talking about the thick of it. Maybe the thick of it should just be a whole hour talking about Peter Capaldi's activism. Wouldn't that be nice?
That'd be lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, what a legend.
That, baby. Oh, I can't wait to talk about Peter Capaldi. Yeah, so next week we're doing the thick of it.
Yeah.
And it will be back to our normally structured programming. If you like this episode, like I said, a lot of our other episodes are usually more focused on the shows themselves rather than the creators, but you can find those episodes on First Time Flyers podcast at any of your socials, including Instagram and TikTok. We're also on Podwin Out Studios, where you can find this show as well as our other show, All Hail the King, a Stephen King podcast with our friend Garen, where we talk about Stephen King books and movies. Or in the case of this episode, we will have just covered...
Ghost.
No, Ghost is our next one. What's the one we... Oh, Golden Years. We just covered the TV series Golden Years, but next episode we're going to be covering a music video, Ghost Michael Jackson. So if you're interested in that, you can find that at Podwin Out Studios on YouTube as well. If you have any thoughts or any suggestions on any of the episodes we've discussed or any episodes you would like us to cover, feel free to email us at firsttimeflyerspodcast. I had this idea I cooked up with Garen earlier about having a suggestions hat and maybe at some point doing a suggestions season where we pick out from the hat. So if you want your suggestion to be put in there, send us an email or a message on one of our socials.
Yes.
But thank you for listening.
Thank you so much.
Especially if you made it to this point in the episode. I understand this one was a lot more heavier and different to some of our other ones, but we really appreciate the support.
Wonderful.
We hope you have a lovely weekend. Cabin crew, prepare for landing. Thank you for flying with us today. We hope you had a pleasant rest of your journey, and you join us next week when we depart for the thick of it.